Hello everyone, I'm the Peculiar Pisces and welcome to my channel. Today is Wednesday, July 1st, 2026, and it has only been 1 week since the last time that I filmed, and I really wanted to film this week, even though it's summertime and my summertime schedule is kind of like every other week, but I really wanted to film this week because I had a finish and I wanted to show everyone my finish, and I'm so excited about it. And I've already picked my next project, and yeah, so like it's been like a roller coaster last couple of days of June. So I'm going to start with, where all of my June projects finished and get those out of the way, and including my finish and what I'm going to be moving on to. Then I'm going to go over the birthday start that I worked on, and then I will get into the temperature projects that I worked on. So, I do have a lot of things to cover, so hopefully I can be pretty quick about it. All right, so I'm going to start with project number 1. I'm going to leave you in suspense as to which one it was my finish, but it's not going to take that long to get to. So I'm going to start with project number 1. And the last time that I filmed was the 24th, and I actually did not get to work on it at all that week. So for the week of 6/22 through 6/28, I did not get to touch project number 1. But it was spun on my wheel for Monday of this week. So over here, I've separated everything by, these are my June projects, all my July projects are over here, so I need a minute. So project number 1 for the month of June is the Mirabilia's August Peridot Fairy. Maybe this side is a little better. Hello, minion. No, stop it. Why do you always do this when I'm downstairs? Okay, so here is where I am ending for the month. And so from the last time that you saw it, I did fill in these green colors that were in this wing. So that is all done. And then I just worked on bringing down the black, and I worked on here. Does that show it a little bit better? I did get some color in there. Some of the grays, some of the blues, not any of the whites, but yeah. So I'm just working on finishing out her dress. Once I have finished all the stitching, I will work on fixing this little hole, and then I will move on to the back stitch and the beading. So she is really close to being done, and I'm so excited. I always forget to say this. This is 28 count Wild Bouquet from BestitchMe. And this is the Opal Lugana. So I'm so close to finishing this one. Maybe when I pick this up in October, maybe when I pick these up in October, I can get this one finished. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so for that one, I didn't even say, I did 6 hours and 22 minutes and 46 seconds. My husband has been watching the World Cup games, so we've been watching a lot of soccer. So I have been cross-stitching while he's been watching soccer because I am not a sport person, and sports are very boring to me. I did briefly get into professional wrestling for a while, but that's because it was big sweaty men throwing each other around a ring. Like, who doesn't want to watch that? But anyway, he's been watching soccer, so I've been getting in a couple of extra stitching time this week. So I said 6 hours, 22 minutes, and 46 seconds. So that has now brought my total project time for the August Peridot Fairy to 97 hours, 14 minutes, and 14 seconds. So we're getting up to the hundreds now. So many hours, so many hours. That's why I was devastated when I put that hole in it. I thought it was done forever. All right. So project number 2 that I've been working on is the Orchid Blackwork pattern from Loose Thread Stitchery. And this one is 18 count fabric that I hand dyed myself. This is my finish. I finished it. I finished it. Let's see. How close can I get this that you can see it? Not very great because of the lighting, but it is finished. It is signed 2026. So I'm done. Yay! So this one I'm going to safely put away until next year. And when it gets time for the fair, then I will have this one framed for next year's fair, unless I have a better black work done before then. Which leads me to the project that I have chosen to go on to next. I have the 2023 Steady Thread Stitch Along, the Botanical Stitch Along. And I have decided that I want to do this more squared looking honeycomb style for it with the flowers around it. But I have to be like super extra, and I want all of the honeycomb boxes to have the drop shadow. I don't think I have a picture of that here. Yeah, I already took it. I already took out the drop shadow ones and taped them all together. But there's a little drop shadow that goes on each of the honeycombs. So I'm going to be doing the drop shadow version. And there's an additional border that you can put around it. So I'm going to be adding that additional border. And yeah, so I have already dyed the fabric that I'm going to be using. I have decided to lean into the honeycomb, and I dyed this piece of, this is 16 count fabric. So I used 2 different colors of yellow and black to do this. Oh, that's backwards. Ha! If you're looking at the back of my needle minder. So yes, this is the piece of fabric that I'm going to use. And yeah, so not this month, but next month, I will start working on this stitch along. And I've decided the honeycombs in the middle are going to be black. I have picked 895 dark green for the leaves on the outside. And then for the leaves and stuff that's going to be inside the squares, I have picked 3346. And I need to pick up at the store, I need to pick up 310. And I need to pick a purple and a probably teal, turquoise, aqua color that are going to be for my flowers. And I'm going to alternate the purple and the teal color for the flowers. So I don't know. If I end up getting this one finished before next year's fair, I might enter this one instead of this one because of how complicated this one is as opposed to this one. But we'll see. We'll have to see how long it takes me to work on it. But that's my finish. Yay! I can hold it back up. It's my finish. So I started this one October 1st of 2025, and I finished it June 26th, 2026. So it almost took me a year. So I have put in a total, I got to put in 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 49 seconds, and that's what finished it off. And so I put in 53 hours, 13 minutes, and 11 seconds total to get this one done. So yay! My first finish of 2026, and it might be my only finish of 2026. We'll have to see. Okay, and then let me put these down here so they're out of the way. Project 3 is Waterfalls of Jade by Nene Thomas. And I got this directly off of her website. And this is stitched on 22 count Hardinger that I hand dyed myself in a Come Dye With Me video. So here's my progress last time you saw, which you probably can't really tell, but I did finish this row and I'm down over here. So this is the edge of the page, and I'm going to finish working on this page before I jump over to the next page and go on. Here's the full top. So this one, I worked on this on the 25th for 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 3 seconds, plus the 16 minutes that I got to work on it before. I then put in 2 hours and 21 minutes and 0 seconds for this one. And then, so that's brought my total time to 60 hours, 23 minutes, and 52 seconds. I am now at 7,698 stitches out of 244,860, and I'm at 3.14%. So little bit by little bit. Okay, and then project 4 is the Dimensions Indian Peacock. And I am using the kit fabric and the kit floss. The fabric is 14 count natural Aida. So here is my progress. So from the last time that I filmed, I feel like I actually got quite a bit of progress. I filled in most of the feathers here and I brought down the neck significantly. So this is another one that I was working on during the soccer game. So I was working on this yesterday, and with the stitching that I did on it yesterday during the day, and then the stitching that I did during the soccer game, I put in 5 hours, 12 minutes, and 20 seconds, and that has brought my total project time to 51 hours, 17 minutes, and 58 seconds. And for anyone that is curious about how I track my time, I have a stopwatch feature on my cell phone, and whenever I sit down to do any stitching session, I start my stopwatch. And if I get interrupted, if it's a quick interruption, I will just get up and do the thing and come back and not worry about those couple of minutes. If it's going to be a longer interruption, I will stop the stopwatch, do whatever it is, and then come back. And so I will technically mark it as a lap. And then at the end of the night, I will take a screenshot of what my total time was, excuse me, for that project. And then I write it down in a notebook. And then then I use a website and I add the times together. So that is how I keep track of my times, for anybody that has been curious. And then I also take a daily picture of, if I work on it every single day, I will take a daily picture at the end of my stitching sessions so that I can compare them throughout the week. But right now, because I'm not really working on my projects daily, it's more like a weekly picture. But I do take a picture after every stitching session. Okay, so that is my 4 main projects that I worked on for June. Let me get into my birthday start. My birthday was in February, and I started this birthday start on my birthday. And so every month coinciding with the date of my birthday, which happens to be the 24th, I have been working on this piece. So whatever bit of time, any of the stitching that I do on the 24th, it is only on that project. But any bit of time that I do get on stitching, I'm keeping track of that as well. So let me pull up the picture first. Okay, here's the mock-up in Pattern Keeper. This was the Heaven and Earth Designs 2024 Valentines freebie, and it's called Venus. And I am working on this by color completion. Now, here is where I am. I moved my hoop a little, and now I'm getting towards the end. I think the end might be like right about here-ish, I think. But yes, I did move my hoop some. So here's all the progress that I had before. It was a lot of ninja stitches in here, but I think coming into here, I'm starting to get into more stitching at the edge, just like there was over here. So this one, I worked on it 2 hours, 36 minutes, and 38 seconds. I put in 408 stitches. My stitch count is now at 3,728 out of 154,000. I am at 2.42%. So yeah, I'm just stitching along. Just one day of the month, getting it done. Okay, at the end, when this color is done, I will add up the time that it took me to stitch that color. So it's not that I'm not adding up the times, I just am not adding it up yet. Okay, and now let me show you what I will be moving on to for my 4 main projects for the month of July, starting tomorrow, because I'm not going to get any. Well, if there's a soccer game on tonight, I probably will get some stitching done. But if there's not a soccer game on tonight, then I'm not going to get anything done. So it depends on if there's, and it doesn't even matter who's playing. My husband's watching all of the games that are televised as long as they're not on at the exact same time. So it's just been soccer. Soccer, soccer, soccer. Okay, so moving on for the month of July, and what I will do, I'm still doing, is spinning a wheel, the Tiny Decisions app. I'm spinning for my projects, and it tells me which ones to work on for the week. So the first one that I'm moving on to is the picture even in here? Oh boy, have I lost the picture? That's no good if I've lost the picture. Nope, here it is. Oh, so unorganized. I am doing lavender and lace, and this is called Lady of the Thread. And on this one, I recharted this in Floss Cross, and I changed her dress colors. To me, her dress gets lost in the wreath because all of the greens that are in her dress are the same greens that are in this wreath. So I felt like her dress got lost, and I recharted and changed the colors. Now here is where I okay. So I have finished this half of the wreath all the way to where it comes down to her dress area. And so the last time that I worked on it, I was working on bringing this half of the wreath down to wherever it meets her dress. And once I'm done with the wreath, then I will move back into the middle and finish working on her dress. So, and I've said it before, and I can, of course, say it again, but the colors that I'm using for her dress are 211, 210, 209, 208, and 3837. Those are the colors of purple that I'm using for the dress. Okay, so I can't wait to get back into this one. It's been a long time since I've touched this lavender and lace. Feels like a long time. But I'm just at her dress. I mean, well, I'm finishing out a little bit of the wreath, but I mean, I'm almost done. I am. And I'm very happy with that. Okay, so that will be project 1. Project 2 is sampler or Blackwork. So this is the sampler. I'm going back to the Dutch Beauty sampler. And I am on page G. Although I am going back to page F a little bit and making sure that I got all those flowers, the flowers in the top, to make sure that those are all done. But I am between F and G. Here is like where I left off. So as you can see, I have it set up so that because I need to do this one. So like all these flowers up here and all these flowers here, I have to make sure that I have those colors stitched in. But then I will get back to work in this tree and finishing it out, and then adding, I guess since this is like a, I don't know, a lion or something, there's another lion. So I still have stuff to do. And after I get these things done, then I'll shift the hoop just a little bit to finish, you know, the edging and all that stuff. So that's exciting. I should get that whole top row done this time. and then I should be moving on to the middle left section. There was a little bit like there's a little bit below the line that I did not do because I didn't just want to have whatever these were and then have them not line up. So I'll do those parts when I'm on that second row. Okay, and then project 3. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. I am going back to Chatelaine's Misty Morning Vineyard. And here's where I am. I'm working on, like, I finished. Well, I didn't finish because there's one thread color that I don't have. There's one silk that I don't have. I still need to get that silk. Or make the decision to use the DMC and just use the DMC for that one color. But I don't know. I haven't made that decision yet. But I still have one silk color that I need to get so I could finish out this section. And then, of course, there's all the beading and the back stitching. And I have the paper copy. I've heard that it's pretty beneficial to buy the PDF version because it's in color and you can see better the back stitching. So at some point I will be purchasing the PDF version so that I can see the back stitching better. I'm unsure if I want to bead and back stitch as I go or just finish the stitching and then do the back stitching and bead. Like I don't know which way I want to go, and I kind of need to make that decision soon. So here's where I am, but I'm excited to get back to it because, like I said, it's been 4 months since I saw this. And then project 4 is Plaid Busilla Kit, and this is called 4 Seasons. And I am up in the spring quadrant. And so first of all, I used the fabric that came with the kit, but I hand dyed it. And I made the decision last time that, like, I finished the stitching in the spring quadrant, but I made the decision that I'm going to go ahead and do all the back stitching before I move over to the next section. So that is where I am. The quadrant is done. All of the stitching around this edge is done. Now I'm coming through and doing the back stitching before I jump over. I usually wait until the very end to do the back stitching. But I don't know. This bothers my anxiety that you can't see that says spring, I think. And I feel like I just want to treat each quadrant as like a full picture, and just after the quadrant is done, I'll do the back stitching. So, yeah. Okay, so that is the 4 projects that I will be moving to. And okay, so now the temperature stitching projects. They're not stitching, not all of them. Okay, so if you don't know what temperature projects are, what it is I have a surplus of projects that I work on. Some of them are cross stitch, some of them are crochet, some of them are beading, some of them are other things besides cross stitching. I like to do a lot of different projects. And to me, sometimes it gets overwhelming when I have some extra time trying to figure out what I want to work on because I have so many half-started projects that I've never finished. So a lot of people have been doing daily 30 stitching and temperature stitching. And so I sort of combined the two. And so for 30 minutes each day, I will work on a project that will coincide with the temperatures. Now, I didn't bring my big list to go over again. Oh, wait, hang on. I have this. Okay, so for the temperature projects, starting at 0 and going to 9, what I do is I look at the temperature each morning and what the projected high is supposed to be, and that chooses my project. I look at the second digit. So 0 through 9. Project for the 0 is the Doctor Who diamond painting. Project for the 1 is pansy blanket crochet. Project for 2 is the purple landscape. Project for 3, it was Irish crochet. I'm having difficulty getting back into that project, so I'm going to switch that out to something else. It's going to be my my Smurfette crochet. So project 3 will be Smurfette crochet if she ever comes up. Project 4 is French beaded flowers. Project 5 is monk's cloth, or it's called Swedish weaving, or it's called huck weaving. Project 6 is a printed butterfly cross stitch. Project 7 is a purple baby blanket that's crochet. Project 8 is a printed peacock cross stitch, and Project 9 is the granny square crochet blanket. So those are all the projects that could come up for the month. So on the 25th, it was 71 degrees here, and that is the pansy crochet blanket. So, okay. So this one is really hard to show you guys. So down here, not that you can even see, but with this color highlighter, I worked from the purple edge all the way up into here where this pink flower is. So I will try to show you. Okay, so here's the purple bottom. So I worked all the way from the purple bottom up the black edge, adding a couple of greens in through here, all the way up to here with the pink. So this is the bottom, this is the starting bottom. It comes up, and I am all the way up into the yellow up here. So that one's so hard to show, and when it's finally done, I'll be able to show the whole thing, and it'll be great. But for 30 minutes, I probably got about 60 to 70 stitches, maybe. Okay, and then project, no, on the 26th, it was 78 degrees here, and the 8 coincides with the peacock printed cross stitch. This is what it is going to look like when it's finished. I am working along this top. I switch back and forth. I'll do a background color, and then I'll do a color in the foreground, and then I'll do another background color, and then like another foreground color. And so I just jump back and forth between the background and the foreground, pretty much just trying to get these done. Here it is from the back, so that you can see better without all the distraction. Then on the 29th, it was 86 degrees here, and the 6 coincides with the butterfly printed cross stitch. This is what it's supposed to look like. That way. And same thing, I'm just doing a black background, and then I'm doing something in the foreground, and going back and forth. So I started with the colors in this next row down here for the foreground. I picked a symbol, I stitched it down, stitched it out, would do another black background, and I kept going back and forth until all of them in this row right here are done. And so now I'm over in here getting the stitches done and stitched out, and if I finish the color over here, I will cut it and then jump over here to wherever I can find it. So here it is from the back, so you can see it without all the distractions. It's not a great print, but it's something to do. Okay, and then the last one is the purple landscape, and this one I have misplaced the picture, so I have no idea where that picture is anymore. But here I have been working I was pretty much working in, I started this up and down this way, realized that as I get further in, it's going to be harder to work on. So I tried flipping it on its side to work on it, but I realized that I had to stitch backwards from how I normally am. So I'm back to stitching this way again, and I'm just pretty much doing it columns. I'm bringing the columns down and coming over as I'm going. So I'm in this second column down about here. And so I'm just bringing it down. Here it is from the back, so you can see it without all of the distractions. This one's a huge piece, and I don't expect to finish it anytime soon. So that is it. That is it. That is everything that I've worked on for the past week, including my finish. And yeah, so I am signed up for the state fair now. The county fair drop-offs have already happened. My friend took my piece to get it all dropped off. That fair starts on the 11th. So it runs the 11th through the 11th through the 18th. So it's a full week. It's the 11th through the 18th. I have to pick up my piece on the 19th, which is the day after it closes. And then August 2nd and 3rd, we have to take our pieces for the state fair down to Pueblo. And I'm entering the Blackwork piece, Pentecost. I'm also entering a wire wrapped piece, a crocheted piece, a blackwork, the wire wrap piece, a crocheted piece, and oh, another cross stitch piece. The hummingbird and floral that I finished last year, um, also at the same time that I finished Pentecost. There is a category for 3D items to include like pillows, doorstops, things like that. And I had already planned on turning that into a pillow. So I'm going to FFO it and turn it into a pillow so that I can enter that one into the fair. I'm entering 4 things, and my youngest is entering 3 things. She's entering a ceramic piece that she made in school. She's entering one of the um, oh, now it's left my mind. Pipe cleaners. One of the pipe cleaner crafts that she made with the bunnies. She's entering that. And then she's entering a hand-drawn picture of Rumi from K-pop Demon Hunters. So she's excited and ready to take things to the fair. So that first weekend of August, I got to take everything down to Pueblo for the fair. And that fair then starts August 28th and runs through September 5th. No, through September 7th. And then I got to pick up my things by September 9th. So that is the plans coming up. It is fair season. Everything is in full swing. Like I said, they already have my piece. They've probably already done the judging. I will have no idea until we show up to the fair and I have to go into the room where all of the cross stitches are and look for my own piece. So I'm excited. Fair is about to happen. That's probably all I'm going to be talking about for the next couple of weeks, I think. But yeah, so I will either see everyone next week or in 2 weeks. I'm not sure just because it's very hectic with the kids being home and stuff. So I will see everyone later. Bye for now.